In this video, we'll talk about 8 ways to train your brain to learn faster and remember more. It's high time we started focusing on learning how to train our brain and stop spending excessive time on improving our bodies. Life is all about balance anyway. If you can go for hikes or run outside to train your endurance, or go to the gym to train your muscles, you should also be eager to train your brain. Do you even know that you have several benefits to enjoy when you train your brain? Well, you do. And some of the benefits you stand to enjoy will include avoiding diseases that hit you as you get older, finding it easy to pick up a new language or a new skill, being a faster learner in all sorts of different skills, and avoiding embarrassing situations because you cannot remember the face or name of a person. As you now understand the need to improve your cognitive skills and train your brain, here are some tips that can help you to learn faster and remember more. Number 1, work your memory. A great way to train your brain to learn faster and remember more is by working on your memory. When it boils down to doing this, you can opt in for a method that goes well with you. According to brain fitness studies, you can help to improve the function of your brain by discussing a particular thing that you wish to remember with others, and then consciously work on trying to remember that particular thing. Let's say you're trying to learn the names of your colleagues at your new place of work. Having a conversation with them and adding their names to the conversation can be very helpful. For example, let's say the name of one of your new colleagues is Josh. You can say something like, "I really love that movie, Josh." Or, "So what time do you go for lunch here, Josh?" Flexing your brain is a great way to practically train your brain. Number 2, do something different repeatedly. You'll be improving specific cognitive functions when you help your brain wire new pathways by doing something new repeatedly. Getting to learn isn't about your strength. It's about how you can cultivate with enough repetition. Whatever you may have been doing that isn't helpful, make sure you establish new habits that will help you get rid of them. Number 3, learn something new. Your brain will function better for you when you use it more. While it's recommended that you don't overwork your brain, you also don't want to leave it dormant without anything new to learn. Thus, you can choose to learn how to dance, learn a new language, or learn a new instrument. However, make sure you're first aware of your learning style if you want to learn new stuff more effectively, because with this, you'll be able to learn quicker and maximize your strengths. Number 4, follow a brain training program. There are some brain training programs that can help you to train your brain to learn anything faster, think faster, and improve your memory. You can even take advantage of these programs without stressing yourself, since it's something you can do while lazily sitting on your couch. All thanks to the internet world. Number 5, work your body. If you want to improve the fitness of your brain, you should exercise more. Moving your body can help to increase your alertness level and make you learn faster. It can as well help to create those new neural connections faster in your brain. You stand to enjoy a lot more than just 20 minutes of exercise. Number 6, spend time with your loved ones. Your mood can be lifted and you'll be able to think more clearly when you engage with loved ones and talk with others. Having meaningful relationships in your life can really help you develop optimal cognitive abilities and train your brain. Number 7, avoid crossword puzzles. To an extent, crossword puzzles can be quite helpful, but they lack the full capacity to help prevent a disease like Alzheimer's or train the brain. Of course, crossword puzzles do improve our fluency, and many of us do think of crossword puzzles when the thought of exercising our brain comes to our mind, but the reality is that they don't do much to sharpen our brain, even though they can be quite fun. However, it's advisable that you go for another activity if you're doing the puzzle for brain health and fitness, but you may go ahead if you're just doing it for fun. Number 8, eat right. The importance of eating right cannot be overemphasized. Give your brain a good boost. Dark chocolates are very nice, and they're highly recommended. Other foods that do help your brain to perform optimally in the long term include vegetables, fruits, and fish. You would also want to consider developing the habit of grabbing a bite or two of dark chocolate whenever you have something difficult to do, because chocolate contains flavanols. They do have the potency to help you learn faster and remember better because of the dopamine they produce. In this video, we'll discover about 8 powerful learning hacks to boost your learning ability. Number 1, define goals. Your brain will be all over the place if you're yet to finalize a direction, and therefore you must guide your brain to a specific path if you don't want to be plunged into the distractions and confusions that lie in the learning process. You'll be able to save a lot more time when you're able to define your goals and figure out what you want to learn as you set your goals. However, the goals you set for yourself should be smart, specific, set boundaries, and aim for what's achievable, measurable. How do you measure your progress? Attainable. Accomplishing your goal will be difficult if your mind cannot comprehend it. Simply put, be realistic. Relevant. Your goals should align with your values and beliefs. Time-bound. If you don't want to be caught in the web of procrastination, it's important that you have a time limitation. Set a realistic time frame. Number 2, take handwritten notes. Do you know that we have more chances of remembering whatever we write down? Most of the time we tend to be lazy, or maybe too busy to jot down some necessary details, thinking that they're too easy to remember. However, what most people don't know is that our mind is more attached to something visual, and this is why we should embrace writing things down. Rather than going through the stress of repeating things 100 times in your mind, write them down physically. This often helps the brain to remember better. If you learn to cultivate the habit of taking notes, you'll get to see the results yourself in a short time frame, and you'll be surprised to see how your mind can be more glued to what you'd written down. Number 3, go for short learning sessions. It's recommended that you go for multiple short episodes rather than focusing on long learning sessions. You'll end up wasting both your time and energy. If you want to go through a quicker way by subscribing to long learning sessions, because we humans cannot focus on anything for too long. Maybe you want to learn a skill, or there are classes you must attend. Long hour lessons aren't helpful. They won't help you learn better. And this may even be one of the reasons why you're struggling to retain what you've learned, because you're working yourself out. To help your brain retain information more efficiently, break down the learning criteria into smaller parts. Number 4, share knowledge. You need to give away if you want to get more. How do you give? It's simply by sharing your knowledge. The fact that you're sharing your knowledge doesn't mean you'll have less of it, because as you're giving out some information, you're also taking in some information. Learning is not a one-way thing. It's a two-way process. In fact, if there's confusion in your mind, you can get more clarification when you talk about it, and your concept can even get strengthened by the feedback you get from sharing. More so, you can get to contribute to the cycle of learning when you share your knowledge. Number 5, set schedules. You can boost your learning power if you use the benefits of setting schedules to your advantage. If you set a routine, your brain will be used to it. You'll be able to achieve your goals promptly when you have a set schedule, and if you have a regular learning schedule in place, your brain will be able to retain information better. So, have a routine. Number 6, organize information. It's important that you learn how to be organized mentally so that the new information you take in from the new skills you learned shouldn't make you get confused. Don't let your brain get jumbled up with needless files when you keep saving files on it. Just see your brain as a computer. We all know how important it is for our hard drive to have enough space and not be jam-packed with new files every day. So what should you do? It's recommended that you give your brain some breathing space. You learn how to play the guitar today, and tomorrow you want to start keyboard training too. Come on, don't be too hard on the poor brain. It's a good thing to take up new skills, but make sure that you space out the repetition of newly learned ideas and the intake of new knowledge. Number 7, use various techniques. This has already been spoken about earlier on, and as explained earlier, we all have our respective learning styles. It will be easier for you to retain new information if you learn with your learning style. However, limiting yourself to one mode of learning isn't good enough, because a fine mix of various learning styles can be quite beneficial too. So while you try to be sure of what your predominant learning style is, you should also consider reading books, listening to YouTube videos, and/or attending webinars or workshops. Just alternate between all the available options. Number 8, use time effectively and keep a healthy brain. Don't waste away your time doing what you shouldn't, and don't also give your time to long-hour lessons where you will end up learning almost nothing. Use your time effectively. In your free time, you can direct your unconscious mind to an appropriate activity and whatever skill you're trying to learn. Make sure you do something related to it every day. More so, know that only a healthy brain can absorb and retain new knowledge easily. So, make sure you boost the performance of your brain by ensuring your daily routine include meditation and mental exercises. Additionally, eat a healthy and well-balanced diet and have a good sleeping schedule. You'll learn nothing if your mind is exhausted, sleepy, and tired. In this video, we'll discuss about 5 hacks to speed up the learning process. Number 1, shift your attention from the amount of time you practiced and redirect your focus to several repetitions. The amount of learning repetitions that we engage in is the key when we're learning something, and the time we spend while learning isn't the key. Most times we deceive ourselves with how long we learn. We're even proud to say something like, "I studied for 6 good hours." But what most people are oblivious of is that repetitions are far more powerful than duration. The military, musicians, athletes, and top performers all understand the high significance of the power of repetition. Repetition wires our brain, and this is why it's considered to be a very powerful lever. So think more of how often you practice your skill, and think less of the hour you spend doing it at a stretch. Number 2, break everything down into small chunks. There are several smaller pieces of chunks of information that are housed in every skill or piece of knowledge that we attain. And one of the ways our brain learns is through chunking. So, what are you to do? Foremost, break down the task you have at hand into smaller chunks, and then proceed to the next step, which leads us to number 3. Number 3, perfect each chunk. Now you focus on working and mastering each chunk at a time. At this stage, you may have to revisit the first step, which is repetition. Whichever chunk it is you're starting with first, keep repeating it to master it effectively, and then proceed to the next step, which is perfection. Once you're done perfecting that chunk, you move to the next chunk. As you keep perfecting these chunks, you're gradually creating a chunk chain. Don't forget that there's a whole bunch of smaller parts comprised in any skill you're trying to learn. And as you work on these chunks individually, you'll get more insights and perspectives. Number 4, do you like the sound of games? It's game time now. Your next step is to convert the learning process into a game. Create a game that you can play. Gaming is an effective strategy to learn something new, and we have more chances of getting immersed in repetitions of what we're learning and being carefree about the time when learning becomes an enjoyable game. Our brain likes games, and so do we. Make sure you create a reward system as you set the rules to the game, because the full effect wouldn't be complete if there are no rewards. Number 5, work and rest. While you're going through the steps and you're getting immersed in it, don't forget to take fulfilling and refreshing breaks. Make sure you take breaks to recharge anytime you feel your energy is dissipating. As you're learning, perfecting, and linking the chunks, be sure to recharge so that you can have more fresh energy and a well-rested mind. In this video, we'll discover about 10 tactics to increase brain power, memory, and motivation to learn better. Most times, we tend to find ourselves stuck in the getting ready process as we try to do more of the things we love and maximize our time. As we tend to never actually jump off even though we want to get better every day, live a happy, successful life, and achieve our goals, it becomes necessary for us to find the motivation to do what we must do. Motivation can be something that you create, and it need not be something that happens to you. You cannot hang your chances of moving forward on waiting for inspiration. You need to light your own fire by awakening and channeling your self-motivation, which is the most powerful form of motivation. On your quest to increase your motivation, memory, and brain power, here are a few things you should do. Number 1, simplify your life. To be sincere, there's nothing beautiful about complications. You'll be able to focus your energy on accomplishing your goals and maximize your time when activities that don't motivate or excite you are eliminated or delegated. For you to be able to simplify, you must plan your life creatively. Your life will become more focused if you can carve away the unnecessary by simplifying. This will ultimately lead you to motivation. When all the projects and tasks you need to do clutter and confuse your mind, it will be very hard to stay motivated. So, work on simplifying things. Number 2, focus on how far you've come. Do you know that you can set yourself up for success if you can become more conscious of how your brain works and change your thinking? Stop thinking of how distant you are from your dreams and ideals, and embrace the habit of measuring your success from how far you've come. The chances are high that you'll feel happier and more energized when you don't talk in generalities but in specifics. Measuring your progress and using your brain to solve and visualize will always help make you happy. Reflect on things you've accomplished from a specific starting point, instead of focusing on your ideal, and train your brain to measure specifics. Number 3, set measurable goals. There's no denial about the fact that we feel inspired, motivated, and happier when we make real progress towards our goals. Note that the future is the future, the past is gone, and what we have now is the present moment. Thus, making better use of our time is the only choice we have since we don't have the power to stop time, and we must keep moving forward, whichever way we know how to. You'll feel way worse and possibly get demotivated to press on if you start comparing yourself with others. As you outline your goals, make sure you try to find the meaning, purpose behind them respectively. In terms of your personal progress, visualize what achieving your goals will mean to you, and make sure that, for each goal, there are specific measurements. Number 4, shift your motivation from getting to giving. Wayne Dyer once said that the things we look at change when we change how we look at things. and this is very true. Most of us have the all about me and just me mentality in our endeavors and relationships, which isn't really good enough. However, you can help your mindset to shift from solely receiving to giving by being more consciously awake to the world and coming from a place of serving and helping. It can become a true purpose and focus for you when you focus on giving. What you stand to enjoy when you do this is that more space for abundance will be created in your brain, and your motivational energy will always be high. Surrounding yourself with people with a likewise mindset and focusing on giving and gratitude will also fetch you the benefit of being more creative in your approach to improving. Number 5, create and repeat a new habit. You'll be helping a lot in creating incremental improvements when you get your brain to wire new pathways by doing something new repeatedly. However, take note that consistency and repetition is the key to start a new habit. Maybe you desire to improve your speaking, create videos, go to the gym, or whatever it is. For example, you may start building your strength and stamina by running every day if you're gearing up to run a 5K. Likewise, repetition is the key if you desire to start a new morning routine. Number 6, direct your subconscious mind before sleep. Never go to sleep without a request to your subconscious. Thomas Edison. Make a request to your subconscious mind before you go to sleep. This is one of the things that successful people always do, and it's a great habit to emulate. Visualize the experiences, questions, ideas, and challenges before you sleep. You can spend just a few minutes doing this, especially if you're looking for answers regarding a project or there are decisions you are struggling with. Most of us don't know that our brain is a fantastic problem-solving tool because we're often too quick to throw in the towel. There are different ideas and connections that will be created when you put your subconscious mind to work by visualizing your achievements and goals. You can always start putting things into action after you've written down everything that comes to your mind when you're up. Your subconscious mind is very amazing, but you may never know this until you put it to work. Number 7, focus on your environment. Most times when we speak of the environment, a large part of the environment involves the people you surround yourself with. The things and the people that support your life's growth and business are those you should surround yourself with because, in one way or another, your life will be changed by the people you spend time with. You'll be motivated to become better, successful, and happier when you hang with supportive people, but you'll be pulled down when you're hanging around with cynics. So it's your choice to either choose to roll with those who celebrate your success and inspire your creativity, or with people who stifle and bring your energy down. Number 8, express more gratitude. Gratitude is a great dose that you should unashamedly get high on because you'll be less concerned about what people have, and you'll be less envious when you express gratitude for what you have. In fact, your change will be immense when you're grateful for the people around you and what you have. Gratitude deepens your motivation and makes you a lot more creative. Everything is appreciated with gratitude, and both your feelings of abundance and energy can be increased by it. There are several ways to practice gratitude, and if you find any that works like magic for you, stick to it. Number 9, visualize your ideal future. Visualization is a very powerful tool, and it will work immensely for you if you know how to use it to your advantage. Focus on your why whenever you feel your motivation is lacking, and when you challenge yourself to think bigger or start thinking bigger, you'll be increasing your brain power and motivation. You'll enjoy having a deeper meaning and purpose in your everyday life when you feel you're actively involved in something bigger than yourself, and you're working on something greater. Thus, do well to identify and focus on your bigger vision. For you to be happy with your progress, what would have to happen? What's your bigger purpose? In the next 3 or 5 years, where would you like to be? Number 10, take more actions. You can make a real difference in your life when you do what you've been avoiding and face your resistance and fear. Note that a lot of things in your life are likely to start suffering if you keep resisting taking on what you should have done. Yes, sometimes the large number of tasks we have at hand can make us feel overwhelmed. However, the fact that there are lots to do doesn't mean we should be completely blind to making an internal commitment to get things started and prioritize to use our time effectively. As a matter of fact, other aspects of your life can be impacted by your newfound energy if you just go back to start doing what you should have done. Get started and take one step at a time.